So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that can be useful for you, since mental models are representations about how the reality works, and as much more you grasp them, higher is the probability of you getting what you want. That tends to be prosperity, but you to have prosperity, you rely on your decision making because it's what ultimately is gonna make you select the actions that you take to get the objectives that you want. And then so for that you rely on having good decision making. So you're targeting making the right actions that matters for get your objectives. But so for that you kind of rely and you need to have information. Would be useful to know what's hard like the type of actions that's going to bring and help you, and what are the ones that not going to do it. And then so obviously it's basically we should look for learning, we should look for the knowledge that already was built. It probably will be the best way to get what you pretend. And then so why not study what other ones have people have been studying their respective fields and see what's hard like the models, the concepts that you can take from them. And what's the one that we're going to talk today, it's going to be a one taken from the history field. And then so that one, it's called the four pillars of collapse, a specific pattern that we have seen that makes some type of groups, organization fall collapse. It's one these four type of pillars tends to be present. So that's where we're gonna analyze today. So what's the core idea of these four pillars of collapse is that civilization reinforcing collapse when four pillars cross critical thresholds. It's not about a single event, but systems losing balance. But then we should now try to focus in what are these type of pillars, what they talk. So first one, the resources. And they represent the fuel of power, what it is. So the ability to extract, maintain resources like food, energy, labor, metals. And what are the examples of all these specific element if it reaches a threshold in that specific scenario? So to not exist. So in the specific scenario is that when I don't have resources, I become more weaker. And then so we're going to see how some of the type of civilizations that are well known in history, when they have achieved the threshold that they have so much less resources than probably in the future, in the moment in their civilization history they had, that so it starts becoming and creating wars inside by these scarce resources. What are like examples? The Rome in the 5th century, the platted silver means, which created hyperinflation of that means because the overextraction creates what? Scarcity. And then so obviously what this happened, reliance on slaves, that creates the decline of conquest. We have the Maya type of civilization, prolonged droughts, more soil exhaustion from corn monoculture. What's the pattern? So again, overextraction creates scarcity, then creates internal conflicts. That obviously something that segregates the union that exists in a population, and it is needed to get the perpetuation of that population over time. Second point, the legitimacy that the people have in the system. So it is the population's belief that the government elites deserve to rule, like religion, injustice, the prosperity. What are like examples? French Revolution. The monarchy lost the legitimacy by ignoring famine, more aristocratic privilege. You have the USSR. The Communist Party lost its workers' paradise narrative amid poverty and corruption. What's the pattern here? When elites live in a parallel reality, rebellion is inevitable. 3. Adaptation. Resilience versus rigidity. What it is? Flexibility to change laws, technology or structures in response to threats, if we're able or not. If we're not able, we're more prone to have our civilization to collapse. The population believes that the government elites deserve to rule, which must be less, more prone the system and civilization is to collapse. Resources. The ability to extract and maintain resources As much we're less able to do it, more so it's prone civilization to collapse as well. But then so coming back as well from this 3 point adaptation, what are like examples of so the flexibility to change all technology or structures, the how much harder it was so in response to threats that obviously it comes with having a civilization and trying to protect from external. But then so what are like examples? We have the Ottoman Empire in the 19th century. It ignored the Industrial Revolution because it's a threat, and by ignoring it, they fell behind military economically, and then so obviously this creates inability, for example, to remain the legitimacy of the system because obviously people understand that it can have better lives in external type of regimes. Resources, I'm gonna less able to be efficient in extracting the resources, which so makes me provide a low quality life for the people that are in my population. So pattern in the adaptation, civilization that utilize the past, like make us great again, rarely survive. That's important to understand. Civilizations that idolize what happened in the past, they rarely survive because they are the ones that so are more prone to not adapt with so the change in reality. For external pressure, enemies and competition, what it is, threats from outsiders, so invasions, economic warfare, and cultural influence. So important to understand if is existing external pressure in your countries as well, something that is a determinator for your success. So what it is, threats from outsiders like invasions, economic warfare, cultural influence. What are the examples of people that suffered with that? We have the Aztecs. Spanish exploited external divisions, like oppressed tribes allied against the Aztecs. British Empire in the 20th century, USA and USSR, undermined its global power post World War II. What's the pattern here? External enemies rarely destroy empires alone, they accelerate existing crises. Why matters? Everyone tends to understand, so you can predict modern crises by analyzing these four type of factors. We can analyze the resources, the legitimacy, the adaptation, and external pressure in a system. Resources, water scarcity in Middle East will probably so create future wars so that we should and we could probably face. Legitimacy, distrust in governments, for example, post 2008 global protests. Adaptation, the artificial intelligence replacing jobs could so create societies that fail to adapt will collapse. And we're seeing this how the EA by being evolving takes away public jobs in USA, and then so people are starting so to create protests against the government. External pressure, USA-China rivalry will define probably the 21st century. What could be the practical application is you analyze civilization by so understanding these four highways, and you can predict so future wars, future type of events basing in so the analysis that you can take in these four factors. You can as well practice to protect yourselves. If you're in a position of ruling, you can also look for your resources only, diversifying income streams, stabilizing type of relationships with diversification with countries, not rely just in one source, legitimacy, so question leaders selling simple solutions. In your case, try always to build legitimacy in your leadership, in what you do. Adaptation, so learn, increase resistant skills like coding or urban farming. It's more in the perspective of you individually, but if you're ruling a group, you can as well try and make it the people be self-learning learning. So have the ability to have plasticity to changing technologies to remain so having a good type of skilled population that obviously so adapts from the evolutions that always going to exist, and mainly the type of technology that we have to take more care today is artificial intelligence, and obviously taking care with external pressure, not being someone too mad and not being someone too bad that creates a lot of enemies in one time, because obviously they can always team up against you, making your life harder. So I expect this video was enough to make it, to subscribe, and you feel free so to see other videos that may trigger your interest. without much more to say, just thank you and expect to see in next videos. So thank you and see you in the next one.